What's good, YouTube? So it's been a while since I did a cooking episode, if you want to call it that, or cooking video. My husband actually recorded one for Indian curry chicken and rice, and I haven't edited or uploaded it yet because he just don't do it how I do it. He just don't. But what I'm doing today is making a crockpot meal, or a meal I like to put in the crock pot. It doesn't have to be specifically for the crock pot, but this is a pork shoulder that you're looking at, and this will last a couple of days of leftovers in my house, and so that's what I want, so I don't have to cook for a couple of days. So this was all together like this because this is actually a pork shoulder that is good for grilling. So it came with the strings and everything attached to put on a grill. But I unraveled it because I'm putting it in the crock pot, and I'm going to be letting it cook for at least 5 to 6 hours until it falls off or falls apart. It's really like pulled pork after I'm done, and you can add barbecue sauce or whatever. But the way I do my families is I spice it up. I put it in the crock pot for 3 to 4 hours, and then you can do what you want with it. If you want to make a sandwich, you can pull pork it. You can do what you want with it. It's just going to be very succulent, nicely seasoned, cooked pork. And what I'm making with it is roasted potatoes. So I will show you how I prepare my roasted potatoes, but I'm not going to put them on until like an hour before I'm actually serving the pork. So I'll get it prepared now, let it marinate, let the potatoes marinate, and then I'll put them in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes on 425. So let's get started. And what we're going to do with this is season it up, and I'll be right back after I set up my tripod. So alright, so now I got my tripod set up. My hands are free. I'm actually going to cheat today and then use a pork rub spice that I have. Even though you can make your own pork rub, your own dry rub using Creole seasonings, pretty much any seasoning you want, you put together and then you dry rub it onto the pork, let it sit, and then put it in the crock pot. But since I'm putting this in the crock pot, all the seasonings will pretty much marinate into the meat as it's cooking. So if I was doing like an oven bake, or if I was doing like a seared on the stove or something like that, then I would have marinated it overnight. But I really didn't know what the hell I was cooking for dinner. It's Friday and I usually don't cook dinner. But since we ordered Chinese yesterday, I'm cooking today because we usually leave Friday for our takeout or, you know, our delivery day. But since we cheated and did that on a Thursday, that's just how my family does. We do one day a week, and it's usually a Friday where we order out. So what I'm doing now is just putting this is from Grill Mates, and it's pork dry rub by McCormick. And it tastes so good. It has like this, let me see the ingredients it has. It has chili pepper, herbs including red pepper, brown sugar, garlic, salt, onion, apple cider vinegar, and corn syrup. Yeah. And you can really taste that brown sugar. Like, it's a sweetness to it, but then again it has the peppers in it. And you just want to get dirty and get that dry rub all through the meat, flip it, and I usually de-skin this, but my knife is like really needs sharpening, and I could not find my knife sharpener, like the board that you rub the knife on, the blade. Yeah. But if you can, take as much skin off as you possibly can. Even though if you cook this right, it'll come out crispy. The skin tastes so delicious crispy. Like, it really does. But I just like getting the skin that can be easily taken off. Alright, so I'm going to do the rub on this side. And what I do is put a quarter cup of water at the bottom of the crock pot. I don't want it drenched in water because it's going to create its own juice, and I'd rather it cook in its own juice than this flavored water at the bottom. But I put at least a quarter cup in the bottom of the crock pot. So you want to get that good in there. And then what I use is some cumin, Badia ground cumin. And this is really good for Caribbean and Mexican meats, and I think it's really good for stews and stuff. So since this is going to be in the crock pot, I'm going to put a little cumin on there, just to give it that, I don't know, that flavor. Like if you taste cumin, you know, it gives it a certain flavor. Just a little bit. You don't want to overpower, because cumin can be an overpowering spice, but enough that you want to taste it. I'm going to put a pinch of salt. That was more than a pinch, but I'm going to do both sides. Try to get it even. And then the last ingredient I'm going to use is I think my Creole seasoning. A little onion powder. It's not coming out because it's clumped up. There we go. Alright, so I'm using onion powder. And since it's going to be sitting in these spices, like, you want it to be spicy but not overpowering, because it's going to be pretty much, a slow cooker marinates the meat and whatever spice you put it on, or put on it. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is get my quarter cup of water, and we're going to get it started on high in the crock pot. Wash your hands. Alright, so I have a little over a quarter cup of water, as you can see there. I'm just going to put that at the bottom of my crock pot, and I'm going to transport the pork. I have a huge crock pot. I don't even know what size this is. There it is in the crock pot, ready to cook. So I'm going to put it on high and lid on, and we're just going to let that cook. Alright, so I'm cutting my potatoes, and I just wanted to show you how I cut mine to make chunks. So I usually cut it in half, put it back together, and slice. And it makes a nice little chunk of potato. I don't want these super big slices out. I just go through and make sure they're all sliced small enough. Like I said, I have a family that eats like nobody's business. More. Alright, so this is what I'm going to use on my potatoes. I'm putting them all in this bowl, and then I will toss the potatoes and literally like toss them in the oil, and I'll just let them sit there until I'm ready to put them in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. So like an hour before dinner is actually served, that's when I'll cook them. But right now I'm going to prep the ingredients and toss them. Alright, so since I have to one hand this because I have my short tripod and it won't reach over this big bowl, I have all the ingredients already open to pour. So what I'm gonna use first is the olive oil. And that's about a third of a cup. I really should have measured it, but based on how many potatoes I have to coat, that's how I'm doing it. Now you want some spicy mustard. Some Italian seasoning. Excuse me for shaking up the camera. You want to be generous with the Italian seasoning. Well, I do, because I have a whole bunch of. I'm going to use a little cumin. I am going to use some adobo seasoning. And then I'm going to put a pinch of ginger in there. A pinch, I don't know. All I have is a knife over here, so I'm going to use the tip of the knife. And that much ginger. Alright. And then you want to take your potatoes and start tossing them in there. Alright, so now all the potatoes are tossed. I tossed them and added a little more Italian seasoning to the top of them. Yeah, so that's what they look like until they are baked. So I'm just going to let this sit here, prep, cover it with some plastic, and you can do this with red potatoes too. I usually do use red potatoes, but I didn't have any, so I had to settle for the white potatoes. But it's better with the red potatoes to me. Really, I haven't even tried it with the white potatoes, but I'm hoping it's, you know, a potato is a potato. But, you know. But, yeah, so that's what they look like, and they're ready to be roasted. But I have to wait until my pork is cooked down. Alright, so this is the pork after about 4 hours. I think a little longer than that. Because honestly, I lost track of time, and it just been, oh my god, smelling up the house, just, ugh. But see, you could just pull apart. Literally pull it off. I mean, it doesn't have a bone, but you could just pull it apart so easily. Sorry for the steam. But yep, look at that. Just beautiful. So what I'm going to do now, since this is done, look at that. You could just have pulled pork sandwiches, add some barbecue sauce. What? Yes. Mmm. Mmm, 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 mmm. See that skin? Crispy. Delicious. Alright, so the potatoes are done, and the way you can tell if potatoes are done is if a fork can go straight through. You see that? If it's soft, they're done. Thank you for watching.